To my black sisters out there, y'all a whole blessing, man. You ain't a real woman if you make the place that your man is supposed to call home feel like a mental prison yard. All day, we as black men have to fight just to make it back home to you. The last thing we want is to have to fight. Tonight's conversation of FYO, F Your Opinion on SPMediaTV comes from tonight's conversation with Ace Metaphor. Check out this clip.
If a person, when they open up, every time they open up, they're either rejected or it's hijacked, they're not going to feel safe with you. And a lot of times men don't have the spaces to be safe in. So being like getting out, that's not a habit for most men.
As a black man, where else am I safe?
Exactly. A lot of times it's with the women in our lives, because that's not where the conflict be at most times. And even if it is, it's manageable. You feel me? Like the conflict that most black men facing outside the home, bro, we don't want to deal with it like that when we come home.
No, peace me.
I'll even take disagreeing with you from time to time. But when I open up, when I tell you what it feel like out there, please don't make that a time that we got to go at each other. When I'm trying to tell you what it feel like to actually carry this, you dig me? Because they really destroying us out here, bro. No bicker. Like, so when a black man specifically feels safe enough to like let you in on what that feel like, just in that moment, bro, if you don't have it, let him know that so he can pack it back up. You feel me? Like before he hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, when a black man feel rejected, I'm trying to tell you as one, that's one of the like you don't understand how used to that black men have to become to survive. You feel me? So when it tell you what that feel like, just if you gonna reject him in that moment, let him know before he start to take it out.
I gotta ask, man, what did y'all get from listening to that clip? But when I read the comments to this video, I was praying to God that there would not be any women in the comment section saying what I hope that they wouldn't say. So thank you for tuning in. So let me give you my synopsis of what I took from that video and give you my opinion, right? Yo, there's so much information out there about relationships on social media that you would think that we would be evolving when it comes to how we relate to one another as men and women in our relationships. And it's a big topic because a lot of people have a bunch of issues, and a lot of us wish that we had the tools and advice in hand during those conflicts we have in our relationships so that we can make our relationships as successful as possible. What I took from this clip, because this recently happened to me in the situation I was in. Ladies, y'all got to give us a safe place as black men to come and speak with you. You have to usher an environment that makes your man want to come home. Again, we could spend forever trying to talk to you guys about how hard it is out in the world as a black man, but that's a conversation that's well known. One conversation that's not well known is how we as black men need a place to be able to come and release that tension, that pain, that stress, that mental anguish from dealing with all of that. And you would think the place that we should be able to do that is at our home with our spouse. Not saying that my ladies out there ain't doing that for their man, but it is a very important thing because we as men have been groomed by society, by our friends, by our own mental thoughts that have been placed on us from environmentalism, that we think we got to be as hard as a rock when dealing with everything in life. But what happens is we're just as human as you are, ladies. We are no different than you when it comes to experiencing the emotions that come with the human condition. The only difference is society tells us that we are to suppress that and just man up. But what happens is that weight gets too heavy on us. As strong and as big and powerful and as strong as we are as men, we too need to be able to release that so that we can heal emotionally just the same way you do. It's known that you ladies can come to one another and speak and vent and talk about how things are worrying you and stressing you out. But we don't have that place as men. Yes, we need to do more as men to come together the same way you ladies do, so that we can express that to one another as men. But before that, we got our house. Before that, we've got our spouse. The last thing a man needs when he comes home is for his woman to be a continuation of the stress that he's dealing with just living every day outside of his home. Make it a safe place for him. Make it a safe place for him. That's your king. We have been taught, as black people at least, to be so independent that we don't even recognize the value of building up and maintaining a strong relationship, a strong family, a strong unit, and we take it for granted. The man has been taken out of the home historically in the black family, that our women have been forced to man up, and they've adopted this behavior for the most part, that I'm independent, I'm just as strong as a man, and I don't need you. Now, when a man comes home, he's not dealing with a vessel of healing, who you are by nature, women. He's dealing with more male energy just like him. And now we gotta fight. That should be the last thing that we should have to do, is fight. Now, this video might not get many views, but I don't really care, man. It's mostly for me, I guess. If you can find some value in this, then I appreciate you tuning in, and maybe you'll share it with some folks, or just express your opinions about what you got from this video and what I'm talking about in the comment section. But on all honesty, we got to come together and learn how to be that therapist, learn how to be that healing aid, learn how to be that shoulder to lean on for one another. But most importantly, we as men need to have you guys, our ladies, as a vessel so that we can do that. Because to not give us that, we might as well go form a relationship with the stressors out there that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. When our families and shit is falling apart, if we not doing everything that we can to be there for our spouse, then what good are we as a culture? Black culture is mainly what I'm speaking on, but it applies to all. Be that safe place for us men to come home to and release. And fellas, we got to do the same. But this is FYO. I want to get to some of the comments, man. Like I told y'all, when I was looking at this video, I felt something. I really felt something. And when I read the comments, I was looking to see if anybody agreed with how I felt about this topic. We need that space, man. We need our women to understand us and what we're going through. So let's find out what you guys have to say out there about this clip from tonight's conversation. And if you haven't already, click on their page, download the app, and go subscribe to that channel too. All right, let's get to it. Now, see, I understand this content is a little bit different than what the videos I've done so far, but I want to touch on everything that's just in my brain, man, that's in my mind to talk about. Because I watch a lot of content out there the same way you guys probably do too. So starting this thing off, man, we go to Chan right here. Chan says, it's like what Tripp said in the past video. If you can't meet me where I need to be met, if your woman is so selfish that she can't take the time to hear what you're going through without thinking you're being weak, then it's time you need to reevaluate your relationship. Holding thing in isn't the answer. Pressure bust pipes. So listening to that, it sounds like he's in support of what Tripp says about how we need to have a vessel that's there for us and not a vessel that's against us. Ladies, you have no idea how important that is to the healing of a man. We go out there in war every single day, whether you admit it or not, whether you know it or not, whether we admit it to ourselves or not. We go out there, we get bruised and battered by life. And as black men, we have it the hardest. Like he said, no bicker. It's just true. It's just true. And when we come home, we need to have a woman who is there for us and not against us. Ladies, ask yourself that question while you're listening to this. Are you that vessel for the man that you have in your life? And if you're not, ask yourself, what can you do to become that? Because it matters more to us than you probably will ever know. If you're not aware of it, just ask your man how important it is to him. See what he has to say. Now, we scrolling down. I saw a comment from somebody, Jason, right? Here he is right here. Jason says, the only way to hold space for someone else is if you've done the inner work and held space for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to feel like you need to be some Buddha and you're not. So what I took from that comment is that working on oneself first allows you to be in a place to help someone else. So that brings another dynamic to the conversation. Maybe the person that we're leaning towards to be the vessel for us as men, to be a listening ear, to make it a safe place for us, maybe she's not even capable of doing that because she hasn't worked on herself. That's a very important point. We all have work to do. We all do. And I kind of use it like this firefighter's code. Firefighters, before they go rescue anybody, they make sure they got their fire suit on, their fire hose, the truck is already gassed up. They make sure that they are as protected as they can be before they go and try to save a life. What good is a firefighter showing up to save you from their fire, but he ain't got the water hose? What good is a firefighter showing up to help you save you from that fire, but he ain't even got his fire suit on? He about to go in there trying to save your life and end up killing both of y'all. So I think what James is saying here is really important, man. We both got to make sure that we're maintaining ourselves while we're simultaneously being there to help maintain others in the relationship. So I don't want to make too light of that, man. That's very important that James brought that up. So scrolling down, we got a bunch of comments, man. Shinzenho says here, he says, men talk about their experiences and your response as a woman is to Darvo. Acronym. He says, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offend him. And then you wonder why he doesn't want to talk about his feelings. Now, these things that we're talking about aren't isolated to just what men experience from women. I'm sure women experience the same thing from men. But that's not the point of this video. Actually, what this point of the video is talking about is how we as men know that you experience the same thing that we're asking you to be for us. But in this moment, we're not here to compare who has the biggest struggle. We're just simply asking you to be a vessel. Of course, we need to be a vessel for you. Of course, we need to be a listening ear and a warm, safe place for you to come and vent to. But that's not what this is about. This is about our requests to you. And your boy here talks about how if a man comes to you and you deny him, you attack him, you reverse victim, which means you're taking away his power of his strife and making it your strife to try to say, oh, woe is me, not you, but woe is me. Then you offend him. You're breaking him down. You're not being the woman that God created you to be, the healing vessel that God created you to be, so that you can heal that man and send him back out to the world to do his business at 100%. If you're not doing that, then how you gonna expect that man to come to you to reveal his truth? Now, as I come down and read this comment right here, this is where it kind of got a little personal for me, and I was like, here we go. Right here it says, Sid Falcon says, to the it goes both ways commenters, this is the crux of the issue. You have access to multiple outlets, including your partners, but in a lot of cases, this isn't reciprocated. Relationships would be much better if a little compassion and empathy entered the room at times. Just saying. So what he's saying there is, Tripp mentioned how we have an issue in relationships and we need you to be there for us. As opposed to hearing that and being that, some people in these comments were hearing that and trying to do that Darvo thing and flip it around to make them the victims, to say how they are, but what about us, or what about us? Yes, you need help too. We should be there to help you too, but that's not what this is about. Have some empathy. Feel me and my pain for a moment. But let's see what people said in response to your boy Falcon. First one up is Jazz. Jazz says, But women create those outlets and safe spaces for themselves. Relationships or not, women have created spaces in platonic relationships where they can express their feelings and be vulnerable. And then she goes to ask this. She says, what are men doing to create those spaces for other men? You don't want to speak to your male friends and family members. You don't want to go to therapy. If this issue is specific to men only, what are they doing to fix it? The man never said it's specific to men and men only. He's just talking about what we're dealing with and how we need y'all to be there to help us solve it. But if every time we try to mention an issue that we have, and you try to isolate it and make it seem like he's only saying that men only and not women, you try and do that Darvo thing that your other dude was talking about, trying to flip it around and reverse victim the thing. Well, come on, man, have some empathy. It's not just men, obviously, and the man didn't just say that. He was talking about us and the plight that us black men have, but just because he's talking about that plight doesn't mean that he's saying we are the only ones. You lacking empathy, Miss Jazz. Hear the situation for what the situation is. Don't hear it for what your ears are trying to make it out to be. You're listening with a bias, sis. Check that. But then Sid responded to Jazz. So Jazz asked the question, what are men doing to create a space for themselves with other men? Sid said, for us who are old enough, a lot of it comes from conditioning. We are always told by our own mothers in some instances, but be a man and man up. We have to compartmentalize everything that we feel and not have a womanly or feminine reaction. We are seen as less than, and that stays with us. Just notice the rates of self-deletion in our community. Now, he didn't answer the question because she responds, she says, all that ties back to patriarchy, misogyny, which wasn't created, nor is it upheld by women. So if I ask you, what are you doing to dismantle that patriarchy and push back against misogyny, your response would be, now he didn't answer the question, but I did. So before I get up out of here, thank y'all for tuning in. If you're still watching at this point, man, I appreciate you tuning in for me, man. Hit the like button and subscribe button if you feel like it, if you get some type of value from this video. So when she said that, I had to say something. And this is what I said, and I'm gonna hop right up off this thing, man. It's kind of long, so check me out. Jazz, I'm with you on this question you proposed, sis. And no, I don't think he answered it, but I will. Panels like this one is a start. The first step in any problem-solving task is to first diagnose. And I believe the problem has been clearly stated. Second, present some solutions, which is your question. Tripp presented one solution by stating that you, women, as the partner, be that safe place for us to come to. Do not try to counter, make it about you, belittle, reject, or any other potentially negative recipient to our vulnerability. Be that vessel of comfort that we need. As far as this being specific to a male issue, it's not. It's obviously a human issue, but the premise of the discussion isn't it being specific to men. It's the addressing of us men needing our women to usher in an environment for us men to express our emotional struggles to you guys. Thus, answering your question of what are we doing to create that for ourselves. Personally, I believe every situation we have can be solved at home with a good woman there, eager to listen and learn and jump on the problem-solving train with me. I desire a lady who is my all-in-one queen, but one can only wish. It's a start, man. We gonna make it, I believe. We just gotta be intentional about it. But before I get too goddamn on emotion up in here, y'all ain't finna have me cry. Thank you for tuning in, man. We all want to be heard. We all want to be right. But at the end of the day, it's just your opinion. So, F your opinion. We out. Hey, man, check out some of my other videos, man. Give me some feedback on them. Whether you like it, whether you hate it, whether you love it, whether you give a damn about it or not, man. Just share a little something in the comment section. It's your time, man. You know, we as content creators put stuff out there hoping you guys would like it. I put it out there because I want to share my opinion on it. But I would love to hear what you got to say. Good, bad, and indifferent, man. Till next time, man. We up out of here. Midway, SPMedia, FYO. Peace.